I never thought I'd be the kind of person who checks their security camera footage obsessively. I used to believe those videos online were exaggerated, coincidences blown out of proportion. But after what happened to me, I understand why some people move away without ever explaining why. This started a few years ago, when I was living alone in a small rental house on the edge of town. It wasn't deep in the countryside, but it wasn't busy either. My job required night shifts, so most evenings I was asleep during the day and awake when everyone else wasn't. That kind of schedule changes the way you see the world. Nights feel longer, quieter, and sometimes they feel watched. I installed a Ring camera mostly for convenience. Packages had gone missing in the area, and I figured it couldn't hurt. I didn't expect it to become the reason I still struggle to sleep. The first incident happened around 2:14 a.m. I was making coffee when my phone buzzed with a motion alert. I remember rolling my eyes, assuming it was a stray cat or a car passing by. But when I opened the app, my stomach tightened. The camera showed my front porch. The light was on. Everything looked normal at first. Then I noticed someone standing just outside the camera's clear view. I couldn't see their face, only a shoulder and part of an arm. They weren't moving. They were just standing there, close enough that they should have triggered another alert, but didn't. I watched for almost a full minute before they stepped back into view. It was a man. He was tall, wearing dark clothes, no visible logo or markings. His face was pointed directly at the camera. He didn't ring the bell. He didn't knock. He just stared, completely still, like he was studying the door. Then, slowly, he leaned forward until his face filled the frame. The footage cut off. I told myself it was probably someone confused about the address. I didn't call the police. I didn't even tell anyone. That was my first mistake. 2 nights later, another alert came in. This time, the camera caught movement along the side of my house. The angle wasn't great, but I could see a figure walking back and forth near my living room window. The timestamp showed 3:03 a.m. I was sitting on my couch when I got the notification. I didn't hear anything in real life. No footsteps, no rustling, just silence. The person stopped directly beneath the window. The camera didn't show their face, but I could see their head tilt upward. They were looking inside. I turned off all the lights and stayed completely still. After a few seconds, the figure stepped back into the darkness. The footage ended again, like the system had timed out. The next morning, I reviewed the clips carefully. That's when I noticed something that made my chest feel tight. In both videos, the person arrived from the same direction, the woods behind my house. I started locking every door and window. I avoided sleeping until sunrise. I told myself I was overreacting. Then the third incident happened. This one didn't involve my house. I was at work when my neighbor texted me, asking if I'd checked my camera recently. She lived across the street and also had a Ring installed. She said something strange showed up on hers and thought I should know. When she sent me the clip, my hands started shaking. It was her camera view of the street, recorded at 2:47 a.m. You could see my house in the background. The street was empty at first. Then, slowly, a figure emerged from the shadow between our houses. It was the same man. He walked into the middle of the road and stopped directly in front of my driveway. He stood there for a long time, longer than felt normal. Then he raised his arm and pointed at my front door. Not aggressively, not quickly, just deliberately. The video ended with him lowering his arm and stepping back toward the woods. My neighbor said she didn't hear anything that night either. Neither did anyone else. I didn't go home after that shift. I stayed with a friend. But even there, I couldn't shake the feeling that something had already crossed a line it shouldn't have. The fourth and final incident happened a week later. I had returned home during the day to grab clothes and check the house. Everything looked untouched. No forced entry. No broken windows. I almost convinced myself the whole thing was paranoia. That night, around 1:58 a.m., my phone buzzed again. Motion detected. This time, the footage showed something different. The camera activated, but no one was visible at first. The porch was empty. Then the audio picked something up. Breathing. Slow. Steady. Too close to the microphone. A second later, the man stepped into frame. But something was wrong. His clothes were wet. His hair clung to his face. And he was smiling. Not a friendly smile. Not even a normal one. His mouth was stretched too wide, his eyes unblinking. He leaned down and whispered something I couldn't quite hear. The audio distorted, like the microphone was struggling. Then he said one clear sentence. "I know you're watching." The camera went offline. When I checked the live feed, it wouldn't load. The system showed the device as disconnected. I called the police immediately. They arrived within 10 minutes, but by then, there was nothing. No man, no footprints, no explanation. The officer suggested a technical glitch. He said Ring cameras sometimes act up at night. I moved out 2 weeks later. The house was rented again shortly after. I tried to forget about it. I deleted the app. I stopped watching horror videos altogether. But a few months ago, curiosity got the better of me. I searched the address online. There were comments, people talking about strange camera footage, about motion alerts with no visible cause, about figures appearing near the woods. One comment stood out. "Check your camera history carefully. He doesn't always show up right away." That night, I reinstalled the app. I shouldn't have, because in the archived footage, videos I never remembered seeing, there were clips dated weeks before the first alert. Short ones. A shadow at the edge of the frame. A reflection in the glass. And one video recorded at 2:11 a.m., showing my front door. From the inside. The camera was already watching before I ever installed it. And if you're seeing this story now, there's something I need you to do. Check your cameras. Not the live feed, the old footage. Because sometimes, the scariest thing isn't what shows up. It's how long it's already been there.